You can't ignore the elephant in the room any longer, church. We know it's elusive. We know it's confusing. We know it's overwhelming at times, and you think it's too much for you to handle. But it's not. And that's why we're here today to break down what is SEO and how can it work for your church with 7 SEO tips for church websites. My name is Sammy and I'm here with Digivangelism. Here with you this Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, and every Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, with another video, blog post, and podcast episode sharing with you the latest digital ministry tips and trends so that you don't miss out on the biggest opportunity to share the love of Jesus yet. If that sounds of interest to you or your church, please be sure to subscribe below so that you don't miss a single video of digital ministry goodness. Let's get started. So what is SEO? You've probably heard of it before, and it just stands for Search Engine Optimization. Now, when it's an acronym, it seems very big and intimidating, but when you break it down, Search Engine Optimization is really just optimizing your church website for a search engine. We know what the word optimizing is, we're good there. Search engine, well that's like Google. Okay, let me give you an example. It's an extreme example, and hopefully it's not true for any of you. But imagine, for instance, that your church website did not have your church's name listed anywhere on it. Not in the URL, not in the heading, not in the text, nowhere. So how is Google going to know if someone is looking for your church by name and typing it in their search engine? How are they going to know that your church is your church if you don't have the words there somewhere? If they can't find that name there anywhere? Now, it is certainly an extreme example, but it's not too far off base. Google needs our help. It needs our help understanding who our church is so that it can help share it with the appropriate people. That's SEO. So our first tip for SEO for church websites is to actually register your church website. Actually telling Google point blank that your church exists is one of the best ways to increase your SEO with Google. And you can do this through Google My Business. And I know, your church is not a business, no, but you need to use these tools to help people find you. Google My Business is a quick, painless process. It takes minutes, maybe even seconds, to just fill out the information that you want displayed when someone Googles your church, when they're looking for your church, and it will be displayed right there on the side after their Google search result, so that not only do they have a list of options, but they also just have all of your contact info, the hours that you're open, the data for who you are, a link to your website right there upon searching for your church. Fill out all the information real quick and send it off. They're going to send you something in the mail to verify that you exist where your address says you do, just to make sure before they put you on Google. And then once you're verified, you're all set. Other search engines that you can register your church with include Bing, Yahoo, and Yelp. And I know, it's weird to think about registering your church website somewhere where you personally probably look for pizza, like looking for a pizza place when you're going out to eat somewhere. Look, there's churches there too. I know that seems odd, but that's where people are. That's where people search. That might be where you search for things. And as we often say at Digi, we need to go where the people are. Tip number 2. Compress the videos and images on your website. I know, we've said it before, and we'll probably say it again, but people are not going to wait for your slow website, so speed it up a little bit. The people searching your site probably have better things to do and are probably not that invested anyway, so make your website faster, and that'll help improve your SEO experience as well. The more visitors that are visiting your site and the longer they are staying on it, the better your SEO experience. So don't make your visitors leave right away. That'll really decrease your ranking there. Keep your visitors engaged by making your site load time quick. Again, one way you can do that is by compressing your images and your videos files. You don't want your site bogged down with unnecessary data when you can compress these files. They're smaller, they look exactly the same, your site is moving faster. So for images, you can try Tiny PNG, Tiny JPEG, or Smush, which is a WordPress plugin. I like to use Handbrake for videos. These are all free options, and if you want to test how your website is performing, you can search it in gtmetrics.com. Tip number 3. Know your website keywords and use them well. Keywords help search engines know what you're all about. As you use more relevant keywords on your church website, your SEO will improve. Now, pastors and church leaders can be really wordy when it comes to just speaking. I mean, it's eloquent, it's beautiful at times, and we need it, but not on your church website, where Google needs to know who you are and what you are about very clearly, very succinctly. Some keywords that you should consider. Definitely your church name. Make sure that is all over your website. Your church location too could be very important, particularly the city or the town you're part of. And if you're referencing that location often, try to make it uniform, that you're always saying your church in this town, not like this town, which is also this county and this area of the state. Like, don't confuse people. It's not different churches. It's one church. So use one location to help people understand where you are located. You can put your denomination on there as well if it is important to your church, as well as clear ministry names and descriptions. So it's great if you have cute little acronyms or ministry titles for your different groups, but if people can't understand it, and if Google can't understand exactly who it's for, exactly what they do, that's not going to be helpful for people actually reading your website to try to figure out if they want to be a part of it. To look for additional keywords, you can actually pretend you're someone looking for your church on Google and just start asking questions about maybe churches in your area, or start typing your church's name or whatever. See what Google autofills your question or your search with, and what other related questions come up around that when you do search your question. Often when you search in Google, there'll be other related questions that pop up as well. So just kind of do your own research and see what pops up, see what Google is associating your church with. Once you know what keywords that you and your website team are focusing on, put these keywords everywhere. I mean, in your text on your website, in the titles, in the website URL even, that link that people are using, it could be there on the different pages on your website. Often when you're building your website, you can decide what those URLs are going to look like. People might not see them or notice that they're there all the time, but behind the scenes, your words are there, and it's helping Google figure out who should see your site. Other places to keep in mind to include your keywords, if you're able, your meta description. This is something that you will have to put together. It's a short description about your church or about your website that will show up when people Google your church. It comes up right underneath your URL link, so before they can click, they'll see a few lines about this church. So it really helps people make sure that that's the kind of thing that they want to see, and it helps people not miss out if that is truly what they were looking for. This is going to help you with Google in a couple of ways. First, it's just describing the image, which is really helpful for people that either have disability and are not totally able to see that, or perhaps reading on a device that isn't allowing it to load. This helps you with search engine results. This helps you with your SEO because you're taking the time to put this alt text on your images. It's just a good practice to consider engaging in with your church website. Tip number 4, ask for church reviews. At this point, you are already registered on a couple of search engine sites, right? Google or Yelp or whatever. Okay, ask your people to review your church. Reviews are not just for your favorite pizza place. People like to see reviews when they're looking to try something new. So for example, let's say you try a new product on Amazon. You're probably gonna believe the reviews more than you're gonna believe the company that's selling that product. No, this doesn't mean your church is a product, but it does believe that your potential guests are gonna be more likely to believe other people that have been to your church and are giving their honest perspective than they are going to believe the people that work at the church and are filling out the website information. Having reviews on your Google My Business profile, your Facebook page, Yelp, tells these platforms that your platform is worth sharing. Yelp wants to give people answers that they're looking for. They want to give the 5-star place to people looking for a church or a pizza place. Facebook wants other people to see this great institution that's getting all these great reviews. So ask your people to fill it out honestly so that other people have that perspective before they even enter your church building. Tip number 5, quality website navigation. Do you remember an earlier video we did? If not, we'll link it above here. 6.5 website mistakes to totally avoid with your church. We talked about having good quality navigation with your church site. No one likes to struggle or feel lost. No one likes when they get on a site and they can't figure out how to get anywhere. So don't make your website complicated. Make it easy to follow, probably with navigation along the top, so people can just click whatever they want to find. Your visitors' eyes are probably going to follow a Z formation when they open your web page, so put the most pertinent information in that line of vision. Tip number 6, use anchor text. When you are writing out an article or writing out your church website and you link to other places on your website, that is anchor text. As always, the more ways that we can help Google promote relevant information, the better Google likes it. So that really improves our SEO as long as the links we are linking people to are relevant to the words they're clicking on. So don't link to your Sunday school page if the text says adult Bible study. That's not helpful. Only link it if it makes sense. And while we're talking about linking, consider where else you might be able to link back to your church's website, social media platforms, email, wherever else you're engaging people about your church. This doesn't necessarily improve your SEO as far as outside links coming in, but it does help people find your website. Maybe they'll spend some more time on your website. The more people, the more eyes on your website, the better. And while we're on that topic of links, you want to keep an eye on the links on your website that are linking outside of your church website. So maybe a partnering organization or just something else you're referencing people to. It's not good for SEO and not good for credibility when these links become dead links. So when they no longer go anywhere because someone else on that other platform changed the website URL. So check them periodically, maybe in your 3 to 6 month website review. Just click through all the links quick. There are also some tools available for your use that will check this thing for you. One of them being Google Analytics, and let's go there with tip number 7. Google Analytics can be really helpful with helping your church figure out what keywords it should be focusing on. It's not necessarily the easiest platform to use, but there are a lot of YouTube videos out there helping church leaders just like you navigate the waters of Google Analytics. If you can at least get a basic foundational understanding of how Google Analytics work, it will help you very much figure out what keywords you need and what you should be really focusing on with your website SEO. That's it for today, friends. If this video was helpful for you, please like and subscribe below so that you don't miss a single video of us sharing how to reach people online with the love of Jesus. We brought the knowledge today, and now it is your turn to put it into action. Peace.